weeks later.
Tabitha Brown said, "What?" Let's talk about it. So, Tabitha Brown told somebody to get a job. Yes, I said somebody because she wasn't talking to everybody. I know this because I know she wasn't talking to me. But who the message was for, that person know who they be, and that person can be persons. When I first heard about it, I thought, oh no, what's going on? Y'all can't be messing with tabs, okay? Apparently, there were many people who were upset about what she said. At first, I thought if she is talking to you, just say it's me and be done with it. Like, don't shoot the messenger. But I just couldn't leave it there without going deeper. So I needed to assess the situation to try and come to an understanding as to why her comment would affect so many people the way it did. I did not go into commentary or reaction videos to watch anyone's opinion. I just wanted to hear what was going on. Then I shut off any videos when they were going into their thoughts on the matter. However, I did hear something from an HR content creator that sparked a conversation in my head before I could turn her off. I think that if I would have seen Tabitha's video prior to people talking about it, maybe my initial reaction would have been different. I don't know. But when I finally watched her video, I was prepared for what I was about to hear. Now, Tabitha did a second video clarifying who she was directing the message towards. Those with an entrepreneurial spirit who see having a job as beneath them. They've been struggling for a long time, robbing Peter to pay Paul. They refuse to get a job while burning bridges with folk they are depending on to take care of them. Those people, she said, need to get a job. I love Tabitha, and I believe that she had really good intentions and she meant no harm. Look, this woman has dedicated her whole self every single day to faithfully serve and pour into her community. She consistently shows up with so much vibrancy, love, joy, affection, and compassion. And she is gifted to do so on the spur of the moment. That is one of the things I admire about her because that ain't me. Believe me, y'all want me to thoroughly and cautiously think about what I have to say before I say it. So you will never hear me getting on here bashing her or anybody else. We uplift and bring healing here in the Royal Beauty community. The only thing we tear down are strongholds and doctrine because we understand that the war is not against flesh and blood. So I watched both Tabitha's videos and I can see many sides because I've experienced almost everything under the sun. Now, I haven't read any of the negative comments. So if I was to make a guess just by watching the videos, the greatest concern for her audience is the statement about getting a job, period. After that, it all went red. Although I don't think it was her intentions, her comment, no matter how sweet and careful she said it, and she's a sweetheart, may have been a little insensitive to these times. Emotions and tensions are high due to what's going on within the economy and in light of this past election, especially for the 92%. So I imagine that much of her following may feel that Tabitha is disconnected from their plight and what's happening in the real world. I truly believe that the majority agrees that it takes money to make money in most cases. And many understand that sometimes you have to work a job until your business picks up because most of us don't have it like that, right? I've been where I couldn't get a job because there were no jobs to be found in my hometown. I mean, no jobs for a while. So it's like traveling through the desert. I'm dying of thirst, and you're telling me to go get some water. If I could get some water anywhere, even if it's a drop, I would go get me some water. But in the meantime, I have to try to hold off until I reach the nearest oasis, which can take a while. Times are really hard right now, and a lot of people have lost their jobs with no safety nets, no savings, no investments. If they are receiving unemployment, it isn't covering everything, or it has ended before finding another job. There are people who don't even qualify for unemployment. Medicaid's requirements are changing. If you aren't working the minimum 20 hours a week or participating in other qualifying activities, you won't even qualify for benefits. Tabitha's following is mostly African American women, and according to various reports, media, news outlets, Black women were hit the hardest under this current federal administration, and that's by design. And the unemployment rate is climbing faster than what's really being reported. Let me tell you, I encourage you to start turning to God for direction because things are about to get a whole lot worse. If you have a degree, even under normal circumstances, it wouldn't be easy for the overeducated or overqualified to even get a job at McDonald's. So it's certainly not easy in today's economy, not to mention the hiring freezes. I have watched videos where people are putting in hundreds of applications with no response from employers. This one woman put in thousands and she has a degree. I mean, they may be hiring a lot of field hands to replace all the immigrants they deported. Wait, don't worry. They said that's not part of the plan. We ain't going back in the fields. But he did turn around and say that they tried to get the inner city folk to do the work, but they don't do it. Yeah. His exact words were, people that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They've tried. We've tried. Everybody's tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. Naturally, he said. These people, meaning the undocumented immigrants. But we are not going back, okay? Pero no vamos a volver. There are employers who have done away with DEI programs and aren't obligated to hire you even if you are highly qualified or the most qualified. My son was on a job search portal where an employer asked for his race before he could even fill out the application. And you might as well forget it if your name sounds ethnic. You may not even get a call for an interview. So that narrows down the job opportunities even more. And if the whole Project 2025 plays out like they say, women won't be able to work, period. This is what the 92% foresaw and showed up to the polls to prevent. The one thing I can say about Black women, a lot of us will accept whatever job we can get our hands on to survive and to care for ours. Black women, for the most part, are resilient. We know how to adjust and we'll do whatever is necessary. I've rarely witnessed a Black woman turning down a low paying menial job or seeing a job as being beneath them when it comes down to survival. I've seen more African American men do that than women, especially the youngins, the young men. So I'm not really sure about that comment made by Tabitha, but just because I've never seen them doesn't mean they don't exist. But as for Gen X, honey, we don't play that, okay? Once again, the message is for somebody, not for everybody. I don't know if you recall this or not, but there was this messaging being pushed heavily after the election within our community to have our own, your own business, your own way of making money, because of the economic uncertainties. So I'm thinking there were a lot of women trying to build a business, a social media platform, or YouTube channel to secure some type of income stream. And she's right that everyone doesn't have an entrepreneurial spirit, but people are trying to find a way to survive right now. And I must say, for many reasons, everyone can't work a job and build a business at the same time. The reality is that it's just not sustainable for most people, no matter what you do, no matter how much planning you do. Burnout is real. That's the truth. And if the purpose of the job is to finance your dream, who's to say you'll have anything left after living expenses unless you have the education and skills to find a job making a lot of money, or you're trying to run a business that requires very little money to remain in operation. For some, even that could be too much to add into the budget. Whatever the case, even with the best plan, without sufficient funding, having a business is just too expensive. And getting a business loan is near impossible for most Black women. You're just back at working a job when or if you can find one. Listen, if you are single, you may not want to compare your situation to Tabitha's experience, because although she admitted to working odd jobs while pursuing her acting career, and I remember her working Uber during the time she was building her social media platform when she uploaded that one video on social media that went viral. She told us that her husband held it down for, was it 15 years? I can't remember, something like that. Most African American women don't have that kind of support, and for a lot of us, it can feel uncomfortable, especially if we are used to doing it all on our own anyway. It would be easier, though, a whole lot easier for us. I have been on both sides of that. When Tabitha finally got her big break, she was able to secure sponsorships and deals that opened more business opportunities that changed the course for her in a major way. It's like, opportunities finance more opportunities. These times are going to test and reveal how united we are as a people. How do we build support within our community during this time? How can we combine our talents, expertise, resources, skills to get us through these next few years, praying that it goes no longer than that? How do we get our people to come together to make it happen? I don't know. Just the thought my husband shared with me, and I'm totally with him on that. The last point I want to make is that despite our abilities, certifications, degrees, education, training, accomplishments, our resilience, African American women continue to deal with systemic racism and sexism, and this significantly limits our ability to experience or obtain economic success. So, when someone is able to break through these obstacles and gain financial success, that person is considered an anomaly. And for many people, That's how they see Tabitha. She gives us little brown girls hope. It's like, so I see you doing all these things, Tabitha, and now you're saying you can do it, but I can't, is what I'm feeling from some women. And I'm going to try to explain this the best way I can. It's like taking away their last bit of hope they had of escaping their situation and making things better for themselves and their families, no matter how bad they may be at business. Sometimes it's hard changing your course because it feels like you're giving up or letting go of the dream, even if it's for a moment, even if it's not for you. Because once you do, it feels like failure, weakness, like things will never happen for you. Like if you pause or slow down, you risk running out of time or losing the momentum. Struggle is so deeply embedded in us that we don't know when to step away or to even let go. We will tolerate it much longer than we should. Chronic struggle has never been good for us, for our health, mind, body, and spirit, but for some reason, there are those who see it as validation. Struggle as validation or approval. It's like that's all we have. We've always had to fight for everything. And some of us wear it, struggle, like a badge of honor. For some of us, our self-worth is tied up in overworking ourselves. It has become our identity. That's the wounded little girl in us. And when we are told we shouldn't continue in this unhealthy behavior caused by systemic barriers we face as Black women, and by the way, we don't see it as unhealthy, it's just a way of life. We express our frustrations and hopelessness by getting angry and lashing out because we are just tired. I'm just speaking my own truth and experience. This may not be everybody's, but it's somebody's experience. Tabitha isn't saying that it's all over for you, the entrepreneurial spirit. She is coming from a place of caring, speaking from her own experience, like, sis, it's so much more to this thing. You don't have to struggle the way you are struggling. There is a better way. And if she can save people from the heartache and pressure based on her experience, she will try her best to do so. It's all out of love. Tabitha is the example of what God can do. Learn and grow from what she has to offer. But her experience is her experience. And a lot of times, someone's understanding is limited to their own personal experience. Dismiss what isn't relevant to you because it's important that you follow your own path and what God has for you, how He's leading you. Have your own unique experience. There are so many angles and case scenarios that cannot be covered in this video. However, you know your situation better than anybody. Look, there are a lot of people hurting and just going through it right now. But regardless how things look, how bad it gets, God will take care of you. There are opportunities I've had to postpone, great opportunities I've had to walk away from because I either couldn't build them while working a 9 to 5, or I didn't have enough capital to get them up off the ground, or they just weren't a good fit. I have had many business ideas and attempts that failed, but each setback was a learning opportunity that brought more clarity and understanding of myself. Every experience only further deepened my desire for freedom, causing me to narrow my focus on pursuing my purpose instead of chasing paper. And that took a great deal of maturity and introspection. That didn't happen overnight, but I had to first let go of the disappointment and hurt feelings of things not working out the way I planned, the way I hoped, and accepting God's will and plan for my life. His intentions were never for his children to do things in their own might. And that's why we get tired. And now I no longer struggle in the sense of trying to make stuff happen. I am learning to simply rest at his feet, focus on serving him and being obedient to his voice. Then it's his responsibility to take care of me and make happen what I can't make happen on my own. Understand that when we deliver a message as content creators, it may not be for everybody, but somebody needs to hear it. And we don't know who it is specifically, but that person or persons will know when they hear it. And if you're bothered by the message, you may just be that somebody. So if you made it to the end of this video, I want to hear from you. How did Tabitha's message land for you? Did it inspire you? Did it frustrate you, or both? Drop your thoughts below into the comment section. But please remember that this space is about love and healing, not tearing anyone down. Okay? So be nice.